Welcome back to Team Mateo TV. This is our part 2 of our 3-part series of the mid-season breakdown. We're going to be breaking down the 4 teams that are 2-2, so kind of middle of the pack teams. We're going to start off with the Colts. Like I said, they're 2-2. Professor Sean, what do you have to say about these Colts? Kind of put a lot of points on the board, but can't stop anyone.
That is true. Well, they only put a lot of points on the board when they're playing other bad defenses. So it's not like they go out and they're lighting everybody up. The Colts are the 11th defense in the league and the 7th offense. Earlier in the last video, we talked about how the Vikings had the most potential to move out of the poor 4 and into the grade 8. The Colts are kind of the team that they're probably going to be replacing if that happens. The Colts are most likely the team that can fall from that middle of the pack just completely out of it. They had a tough strength of schedule to start. They started out, the strength of schedule was 9-7, and it's huge that they have 2 wins right now. It actually gets easier statistically, but when you look at the teams they play, they have the Skins, the Panthers, the Packers, and the Ravens. I can only see them winning one of those games. They're going to have to find a way to upset somebody to keep themselves in the grade 8 to end at least 4-4 to have a chance of making the playoffs. If you look at their stuff, they're average. The league average on offense is 113 points. They put up 110. Now, this week they scored 53 of that 110. So I don't know,
Jets factor.
The Jets factor definitely came into play there. And then the defense, they're struggling. They're giving up 167 points when the league average is 115 right now. So they probably belong in the first field with the poor 4, but they find a way to get 2 wins. So right now we're talking about them possibly being a pretty decent team. Based off what they've done right now, their grade statistically, just because of the amount of points that they have been able to put up, is a C. They started out, as I said, they started out 2-2, but they really should be 1-3. So right now, like I said, they have to win at least 2 games to get in. It's going to be tough for them to do it, but we'll see what they're able to do.
All right. Mm-hmm. So going to our next team, the next 2-2 team, we have the Raiders. Urban Bowl champs 2 years ago, kind of middle of the pack right now. So, buddy, what do you have to say about those Raiders?
Click, click, boom, baby. Here we go. The Raiders. I still don't know really what the Raiders are right now. Defensively, they're ranked 6th, and with Rob there, the Raiders always been able to play defense. Offensively, they're still struggling with the quarterback position. Seen a lot of different guys out there, got Lorenzo now, but they still haven't put it together. And they're ranked 10th offensively. In the season right now, their strength of schedule so far in the first half was 7-9, and in the second half is 7-9 again. So they have a mediocre schedule this year. Points allowed so far on defense, they allowed 96 points, which is pretty good, only allowing 96 points. Offensively, they've only scored 95 points, so they've given up more points than they scored. So again, right there in that mediocre place in the league. Offensively, they have 90 receptions, which is pretty good, but only 12 passing touchdowns. They do a lot of dink and dunk stuff, try to make guys miss. But it hasn't really been working against good teams. Against the bad teams, they get them going. They get the guys running downfield. But against good teams, they can grab flags. Their offensive struggle. Defensively, they're leading the league with 14 NOs. You know what I mean? You got Frank, you got Lou, and the other safety back there who are doing pretty good. When you try to test them deep. Sacks, they only have 5. Brandon's looking a little older and slower this year. Real old this year. But yeah, so if they can get that together, put more pressure on the quarterback, and really score some more points offensively, kind of get together, get the quarterback in a rhythm, then maybe they can be a contender this year, and maybe they can do what they did, a couple years ago and surprise the league and come back and produce. But with the schedule they got coming up, they got the Jets, they got the Packers, they got the Panthers and the 49ers. I don't see them competing with the Packers. I don't see them competing with the 49ers. But it looks like with the Jets and Panthers, they'll have games there where they can actually try out some stuff to see what actually works and maybe get them in playoff form. So my forecast for the season, I got them at the end of the season going 2-2, beating the Jets and the Panthers. And overall, I guess I'm just going to give them a B. I guess I'll give them a B. But offensively, they gotta produce more.
All right. Going to our next team, we have the Ravens, the second team from the Justice Division in this grouping. Chris, what do you have to say about the Ravens?
The Ravens are the essence of mediocrity, right? They're right there in the middle. They're 8th in defense, 5th in offense, but they are number 1 in having the prettiest uniforms with purple and pink. I mean, they really bring a lot of liveliness, to the field. I feel like Easter egg hunt every week when I see the red. It was beautiful. Their strength of schedule, 8-8, right there in the middle, right? Mediocrity, right? Second half strength of schedule, 7-9, pretty medium, right? So they're right there. They win, they lose, they win, they lose. The league average is 113. For offense, they got 112, right? League defense, 115. They're 110. They're right there, and they represent the average team. And so I'm going to give them, a grade of a B for the first. They're 2-2. They beat the teams they need to beat. They lose the teams that are a little bit better. Now here's the thing: they got to get 2 more wins to get into the grade 8. They play the 49ers, loss. They'll play the Broncos. That'll be the key game for them. Win. They play the Vikings, lose. Colts win. They get in 4-4. They're in the grade 8. But if they go in that same pattern of loss, win. First week of the grade 8, they lose. But hey, they'll be back next year, and their uniforms will be prettier than ever. Go Ravens.
All right. So let's go to our final team in this group, the Redskins, Urban Bowl champions last year. Could easily be 4-0, but 2 different plays have caused them to be 2-2. So, Sean, what do you have to say about these Redskins coming back trying to defend their crown?
Hear your battle cry.
Right. The Redskins, like Nate just said, should or could. We won't say should because they should have closed out the games and they didn't. So they could have been 4-0 right now. They have the 3rd highest offense, 7th in defense. 3rd highest offense means they score. They just don't score enough at the end of games to close them out. So if a few more points every week and you guys would be 4-0. What sticks out to me right away is their strength of schedule was 12-4. They had the hardest schedule to start the first half of the year. The fact that they had 2 wins and could be 4-0 says a lot about who they are. Just like with the Colts in the first breakdown as the team that could fall back into the poor 4, I also see the Redskins as the team that can make a jump into the elite, the top 4 of the group. With the games remaining, they have the Colts, should be a win. The Vikings should be a win. The Broncos should be a win. And then the last week 8, they play the Packers, which is going to be a tough game for them. Right now, starting off 2-2 and then ending 3-1 is going to put them at the end of the season at 5-3 into the playoffs. Their average on both, like you said about the Ravens, that's kind of how when we look at, even though they're 3rd in offense and they're 7th on defense, the league average is 113 for offense, and they only scored 133 points. They've held people down on defense to 97 points, where the rest of the league is giving up on 15. So they're pretty solid, but they're not blowing anybody away like they did last year when they had an amazing defense and pretty much manned up everybody all year long. If I had to give them a grade on the first half of the year, I'd want to give them an A. I'd want to give them an A because the numbers say that they deserve an A, but they can't close out games. So I'm going to go with a B+ right now. Like I said, right now they're probably the best team, the true heavyweight of the middle of the pack. So we'll see where the rest of the season leads them. But we'll see. They got a good second half.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for part 2. Come back. We'll be wrapping up top echelon of teams, the teams that are 3-1 or 4-0. And so we'll be back right after this.